So, we are on the Bali yacht. We will talk with the captain, the skipper, and the skipper will introduce himself.
Hello everyone, my name is Vladimir, and this week I was the skipper of this catamaran. Our catamaran is 42 feet, the Bali model, very comfortable for leisurely relaxation, for cruising. There are many lounges on the roof, many good seats at the bow, and a large cockpit where our whole team, 9 people, can comfortably gather, have a snack, and of course, drink.
How is it more correct to say skipper or captain?
You can say it both ways, but in essence, most captains who operate vessels have a skipper's license. One can become a captain after completing a certain number of miles and some exam. It is theoretical, relatively simple, but it's just a checkbox, which, well, probably out of respect for oneself and one's professionalism, needs to be done at some point. So the correct term is skipper.
Clear. How did you come to sailing, to the sea?
Oh, I probably wanted to sail like everyone else since childhood, but it all started in 2017 when I first got on a yacht for my birthday. It was Greece, the Cyclades Islands, and since then, every year I tried to go yachting. Then my friend and I started organizing some cruises with a hired skipper. Well, then I studied, gained experience, and started doing cruises on my own.
Where did you study?
Studied in, how do you say in Russian? Polish Yachting Association, like
So
that,
you took
in
the
Gdańsk.
courses yourself in Poland
Yes, it was in Poland.
and practice?
Yes. Well, courses actually always last for about 1 to 2 weeks. In my case, it was 1 week of practical classes, 1 week of online theory, and 1 week of practicals, already on the boat, on site. Therefore, you could say 2 weeks. But after the courses, just like after getting a license, we know nothing. Everything is understood only through experience and the number of miles sailed. So the more you go every day, the more experienced you become. And even at this point, I can say that I probably don't know even half of what, until you get caught in some storm or get into a tight spot, until you twist a mooring on the propeller, you won't feel it for yourself. You won't understand or appreciate the full complexity of the situation.
Okay. Can you tell the wind direction?
Yes, we have goodness 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wind directions. I will speak in Russian, but all these names have come from Dutch.
So when the wind blows directly into the nose, it's a Levantic. When the wind blows into the nose at a 45-degree angle, it's a close reach from the left or right. Or when it blows at 90 degrees to the side of the yacht, that's Galfond. A right, left, and stern wind that blows at 45 degrees to the stern of the yacht. Oh, that is from behind. That's backstack. Right or left wind that blows to the stern, that's Galfond.
How much did the courses in Poland approximately cost back then?
It was 2000 something in the year 20 before COVID, around 300 euros, and this is a government license. It is taken more seriously by charter companies worldwide, plus they are cheaper. That means you go locally, and government courses are always cheaper than commercial ones. And not all commercial ones are recognized by various charters around the world.
All right. You organize such yacht tours now and can even tell us about the upcoming tours this summer.
Last year, as I know, I started sailing catamarans for the first time, and surprisingly, it turned out that before that it was only yachts. I love yachts more. They are more extreme, thrilling, they heal, and you feel the wind more. But in summer, people choose vacations. They want a hotel And instead of a hotel, it's a catamaran.
Since the end of last year, I realized that people gather on catamarans faster, more interestingly and more fun. And from this year, almost catamarans and my beloved Italy. So in Greece, we started in Greece. Next will be Italy, Sicily, the Aeolian Islands. It's quite active yachting because besides the water, there will be a lot of trekking. We will climb a dormant volcano. Then we will be climbing to the active Stromboli volcano. There will be many underwater geysers along the way where we will swim. The hot water is like a jacuzzi, it bubbles. We were there once in May. It was cold, but we warmed up in the geysers. Then there will be Amalfi, a very beautiful place, and Sardinia. From Sardinia, we go to Corsica and return back.
And are all these
So in
catamarans?
Sardinia and Corsica, there will be a yacht because at this time in July, catamarans cost a crazy amount of money. I think my target audience can't afford such expenses. Who do I work with? Mostly people living in Europe. Well, it is very expensive there. This is luxury vacation already. Therefore, prices soar sky high in July and August. And in August, on a yacht, a small yacht, we will go explore Norway, the Norwegian fjords for a week. There will only be 5 guests, a small yacht, but with incredible nature and scenery around.
Here. Well, there are no plans for the autumn yet, but most likely it will be Greece and a little bit of Sicily.
Can people join you?
Yes, of course.
And how can one find you?
On Facebook, Vladimir Tassier, or Instagram Vladimir_skipper, and I post announcements there. Half a year in advance. There's a lot of information, interesting videos, educational and promotional, and educational ones to help you understand the essence of the vacation, what it looks like, what's interesting there. Because many people mistakenly think a yacht is like a ship, like when they were in Greece, taken from island to island, and then they strolled around. No, a yacht is a hotel on water, of different levels. There can be 3 stars, there can be 5. It can be very old and uncomfortable. This needs to be clarified in advance, what kind of yacht it is, but usually the price indicates this. And there's a lot of entertainment. In the evening, every day we change location. In the evening, we walk around, explore a new place. In the morning, we either go trekking up a hill before the sun comes up, and it's not hot. We swim a lot.
Usually there is 1 or 2 soups on the boat. We ride the soups, tie them to the mooring rope, and pull them behind the stern over the waves. We ride, jump with a rope swing. We also have an inflatable boat with a motor. We go out on it, explore the shore, some grottos that are only accessible from the water. Well, something like that.
Let's talk a little, and you will show us this catamaran so that people understood what we're talking about, how convenient it is for relaxation and moving between islands. Do you recall any interesting incidents on the water?
Need to think about it, but interesting cases always happen. Something really interesting. It's a difficult question.
Or some kind of, well, accident or emergency?
We regularly have emergencies. During this trip, we got a mooring line tangled in the rear propeller, and we tried, wait for me, with help from Pavel Snyatin, to free our propeller. But it was so tangled that we had to call a diver, and he spent about 40 minutes working with a hammer, chisel, and saw before he freed our propeller.
And minus 120
Yes.
years.
But we were lucky. We did not damage the propeller. We did not damage the drive seal, and everything else is intact. If we hadn't noticed this, we could have ended up more serious. So every other time the anchor gets caught on the bottom somewhere, then either we dive ourselves to a depth of 6 to 8 meters, 10. No one has managed 10 yet, or we also call for diver assistance, and they free us. The sail's there. This usually happens in the Canary Islands, where the wind is very strong. And this year, there was such a situation when it couldn't withstand the halyard ring. It just snapped, and there was a nice fresh wind, 27 knots, and the sail, a brand new sail. It just tore away from the first day and went down. We lost speed. We changed the sail while moving. We were stuck between two islands, 5 hours in one direction, 5 hours in the other. Well, we had a working motor and a second sail, the main sail. But nonetheless, we changed the sail in the open ocean and continued on with the sails.
In which countries have you sailed?
Probably
Was there the exotic one?
there was exoticism. This was the Seychelles, an amazing place, beautiful, wild nature, very little civilization, service, but that is what is valued there. Some animals, flying foxes, bats, turtles, crabs, stingrays, everything. Sharks, though, not seen, right? And besides that, I sailed almost all over the Mediterranean, France, Italy, Spain, Greece, and the Canary Islands. I plan to visit Thailand. I really want to go there. And like probably all yachtsmen, Asia, Polynesia, and Antarctica probably. But Antarctica is the farthest point on the list that needs to be ticked off.
Caribbean?
Yes, the Caribbean for sure. I already want to go to the Caribbean next year, in the near future.
So, since you are our skipper, you can show people a little bit about what's what here. You could even probably show how, well, there are at least two engines, but how one starts.
Engine controls. This is how it turns on. We wait for the menu to load and then start the engine.
Here we have the revolutions displayed, and usually it is 800 revolutions per minute. These are the engine hours, meaning it has already worked for 2,331 hours. These are the throttle levers, and here, if we press, we set it to idle.
There are two throttles for two engines. The RPMs went up, but the catamaran remains steady, not jerking because we are idling.
And it also heats the water. Yes, did I get that right? Each engine goes to its cooling circuit. The cooling circuit goes to the boiler and heats the water, which we use to wash ourselves. This boiler also heats the electric heater, but it is only available when we are connected to the electrical grid.
I shut off the engine, and there is the same control panel on the left, and accordingly, the left handle is for the left engine. This is very similar to control, like piloting a tank or a bulldozer. Right track, left track. If we do this, it turns in place. That is, this part goes forward to the right, this part moves back, and accordingly to the left, and spins. You can control in place without steering. Yes, this is a compass. Well, actually, in the marina, yes, we don't steer. We only work with levers, practically only with levers. These are our sail control sheets. This is the device that shows our speed, wind speed, depth. This is the depth. We are at 5 meters. This is the speed over ground, indicating that we are moving at 0.1 knot relative to the Earth zero, or we are being rocked. Therefore, relative to the satellite, we are moving. This is the wind, now blowing a 1.5 knot, and the apparent wind. At this moment, since we are stationary, it matches the true wind. This is the chart plotter. So here we have a map. It's like navigation in a car. Here we are in the way. And this yellow is land, white is water. And we see we were on Aegina. We came today from Foros, this island. And these purple lines are our track. We went here, we stopped to swim in this bay, and we returned back along it. It keeps all the tracks of the previous charters for the year. So there's a whole web here.
Thank you for watching the story, and we invite you to sail together.
Вот и причалили. Ну вот, капитан молодец, справился на отлично.
Be sure to subscribe to the channel.